All right, fellow TIs, I wanted to give you an update on the next invention that I wanted to work on. The only thing is, like, with the current events, and you already know I'm heading off grid, I might not be able to actually work on it like I wanted to. So the least I could do is at least let you guys know about it and how it's structured and what it would look like. Okay. So I take it most of you have seen like a hospital bed. Most of you have seen like a therapeutic table, something that people would like lay down on, right? Most of you all you know what that is, right? So here's how this thing would look, and basically the name for it is what I like to call is the Rife frequency tabletop. I guess I haven't really. It's just that that's just temporary name. I haven't really really picked out one for it yet. Due to software whatever software, but I haven't really picked out a name for it yet because I'm still not sure. But for the name, whatever. But anyway, the way this thing is it will be built is there's a table there that you lay down on, right? Now, this thing will have built-in speakers on the table itself that you lay down on them. Now, I'm debating whether to have just like sections of just small speakers going all through the table itself, or just having one large one. I think maybe having the small ones would be a lot better because at least you still have that solid structure to lay down on. Even if it's got holes, the holes will still be filled with the speakers. Now, because of the fact that this nano is a swarm, there would have to be a top to this thing that clamps down. Now the top is basically going to be molded out of plastic, and it's also going to have speakers itself built in as well. This whole thing is going to be, when this thing clamps down, the whole thing is going to be soundproof, so no sound will escape out of the machine. So basically, what will be played, utilizing this thing, is rife frequencies for parasites and rife frequencies for fungi. I realized, due to the several different tests that I've done with several different devices that I had, that when you basically have this frequency playing on different parts of the body. I've done this for my head, my torso, my pelvis, and my legs. And the swarm couldn't. It was so much of it that like it just couldn't. Like it couldn't survive anymore. So it was desperately actually ejecting itself out of my body through the feet. And it did this several times. Look, you could do this yourself if you want to. You can try it out. Just get several different devices, do it the exact same way that I mentioned. Have one around the legs, I say preferably around the base where the kneecaps are at. Have these things playing loud now. Have one underneath your torso, and then one on your back, and then one on your head. Now, understand, you do not have to do this, okay? It's not that necessary. But I thought I should at least mention to you guys what I've done. Now, I didn't do this once. I did this a total of 3 times. Same result. It was ejecting out of the feet. I left it there for a while, and that's what was happening. Now, I used one of the right frequencies for blood cleanse, and I played that damn thing as loud as I could with the headphones. Same effect. Apparently, they couldn't stay. They could had nowhere to go, so they immediately ejected out of the feet. So I figured maybe a right frequency for fungi, a right frequency for parasites, a right frequency for blood cleanse would definitely work on getting rid of this stuff. Because look, man, when it comes to a swarm, which is what this nanotech technically is, you can't kill it off unless you get rid of the whole thing. If you leave, because of the way this thing is structured, if you leave even a portion of it alive, it's just gonna replicate. It's just gonna reproduce. That's exactly what it's gonna do. Now, you may be wondering, well, what about your head? Since it would be, it'll only go up from basically from the neck down to the feet. Well, the only thing you really need on the head is actually just a pair of headphones. You'd be surprised. That's all you need. It's just a pair of decent enough headphones. Different, same tone, but not a tone that's connected to the machine. This will be connected to a separate device, but this would be the exact same tone, the exact same one going through the ears. So that basically they can't just go up to your head and hide. Now, using this method, this stuff will not be able to survive itself. Well, I mean, it won't be able to survive in general because of the frequencies of it desperately trying to get away. I've done so many detox baths, but the main problem, and it's always been leading down to the same exact thing. If you are in a controlled environment, this means the cities. This is why they're desperate to get people in the cities. They don't want people out there in the out there in the mountains and stuff like that, out and amongst all those trees and everything like that. They don't want people out there. They want them in the cities. It's important to get the fuck. And I'm sorry for my language, but it's important to get out of the cities because of what they have already done to the cities. Now we are here, and here's the current situation that we're dealing with as it is. We're dealing with the whole. The terrorists are basically using these tactics of land grabbing is what I like to call it. You see, they basically utilize these weapon-based structures to do what they're doing. Now, I have yet to upload the video that I wanted to show you all in regards to this situation, but I will soon. But it's too much to really upload it on the main channel, like where this video is gonna be. So I'll probably have that on the new channel that I'm working on. But pretty much that's it. But like at the same time, the same thing. The only thing you would basically need is basically a decent enough table, enough speakers. You would need you would actually have to make a mold, and then you would have to actually cast the plastic into the mold, the liquid plastic, and then just so it be able to form and whatnot. And also make sure you have sections for the speakers. Make sure you when you have them in there, you got the whole thing structured. Now, the actual lid itself is going to be 2-layered. It's going to have 2 layers to it because it's going to be soundproof. Not to mention, well, if you got the back of the speaker sticking out, well, sound's going to escape. As for the Rife belt, I used that again today, and I just gotta say, it definitely killed off some of the swarm. Not the whole thing, because I'm definitely picking up some tinnitus, but it's not as bad as it was before. So normally when I do this, they send their whole the perps to do the whole noise harassment thing. I'm not worried about it because the audio recorder picks up all of that. Again, let the equipment do the work for you. Don't let them get you upset. Don't let them basically get you active like that. Just let the equipment do the job for you. And then, because it's important that you do it this way, because this way you'll be able to notice things that you haven't noticed before. This is why this is very important. What you do, you get yourself a pair of camera, and this is what I've been telling you guys to do for a while now. If you can at all, get yourself a pair of camera glasses. Get yourself a pair of them, and just let those do the work. After that, make sure because again, these things have ejectable mini SD cards, so you can just eject that out. Go ahead and go through the footage. Just make sure you watch everything on the footage, right? And then you can over-record as the video's playing and do narration on everything that's happening. Everything. Call it out for when it does happen. So that way you can basically say, this is what you're going to have to be on the lookout for when you see my videos. You're going to see much more enactments of these types of perpetuating actions of what these perps do. And the more and more evidence you catch each day, and they're doing exactly what you said was going to happen, that's your evidence. You called it out before it even happened. But the reason why, TIs, you don't want to do that as they're doing that is because they're trying to program you. That's what that is. When you're in front of them, when you're around these perps like that, they are desperately trying to program you. That's what the whole, the harassment with the color that's going on with the color harassment bit. That's why the whole, noise harassment thing goes on. You do not want to act when they're doing that because you're allowing yourself to be programmed. Especially when when you basically notice all of these things that they do and you're reacting to it, you got to remember they are recording you this entire time. They are recording you when this happens. If you need more information on about this, you got to really look at Brian Two's channel. Definitely check his channel out because he speaks out a lot about this. But at the same time, I don't think that it's going to be safe for any TI to be on the grid. That's just what I think, man. Unless we really deal with this, unless we really do, and the only way it's going to ever be safe for us to be, in the cities at all, is if this these towers that they're using are taken down. And no, I'm not talking about just any old tower. No, I'm talking about the actual towers that they're utilizing to basically do this. I really don't have any confidence in the whole court system at all, considering how crooked it is, considering how crooked the government is. But you know something? Despite that, I'd still stand by TIs if they did take this to a court situation to basically try to, bring this more to the public's eye so that people will become more aware of what's happening so we can put a stop to it that way. Despite the fact that I have zero confidence in that plan working, I would still stand by TIs despite that. That's just how I feel about it. But pretty much that's basically the new invention I wanted to work on, but I might not get to work on that yet. Maybe sometime later on, but right now stuff is just too hectic. We had that damn hurricane pass by. That shit's man-made. There's no coincidence. And it's just no coincidence that the damn thing just so happens to pass through the area of where I was planning on heading out to leave, man. Planning on headed straight to the Gulf of Mexico. Straight to the damn Gulf. And I'm like, no freaking way. And then I watch a Plain Truth 5 way before this thing makes landfall, dude. And he mentioned something about them dumping chemtrails out there. He mentioned something about that. And I'm like, okay, so that's bad that's really bad if they're dumping that in there, because if that's getting in the water, what about the fish? That's what I'm worried about, because, I was planning on going out there to fish and stuff. So I'm like, no way, dude. It's crazy, but I'm still determined to get out of here, man, to get off the grid. I'm just determined to do that because I'm just fed up with this destructive system. I'm just done. There is nothing that can convince me to stay in a fucked up controlled environment like this. It's nothing, man. Just nothing. But that's just me. Okay? Everybody has their own way of looking at situations. I'm not telling you to basically follow my example on that. I'm just saying do what's best for you, or what you feel is for yourself. Do what's best for you. Do what you feel is best for both you and your family, Man, when I see a whole hurricane thing happening, I look back, I'm like, something? Remember that last hurricane in Louisiana, the Great Louisiana Flood? That shit was man-made. They flooded almost damn near everybody's fucking house. They did. How much you want to bet some of those houses that got flooded were the houses of gang stalkers? How much you want to bet on that? And they can't pretend like that shit didn't happen. They can't pretend like that just didn't happen, man. And here's what I'm looking at, like, okay, we got another hurricane coming by, right? Did they basically make reparations for this shit? Did they? For like, in case of another flood, did they really work on that to really fix that? Or were they just messing around? That's why it's too dangerous to be on the land. It is. I'm just telling you how it is. I'm not telling you to give up. I'm not telling you to just say, no, everything's all hopeless. No. I am all willing to fight the crap out of this. I am. But I just want people to be alertful that it is dangerous. It is. You got the looters out there. There's, those rioters that's doing this mess. You got them. Not to mention, TIs have it just as, way worse than other people. I mean, we got these damn zombies on us every freaking day. It's the zombie damn apocalypse. It really is. Everywhere we go, from where we shop to where we live, it's constant surveillance, constant criminalized surveillance. And you know something? I think, and I'm like, something, there has to be, I get it's a fucked up program, but there has to be a deeper meaning, considering this is coming from Satanists that were mainly responsible for this, which most Masons are, by the way. So there has to be a much more deeper reason to this stuff than we know. And that's where the religious factor comes in. We are God's anointed. We are God's chosen. They know this. And I believe there are other people who are God's chosen, but they may not be aware. They may not know. And they know the only reason why God has not struck anything down yet, why God has not finished this place off yet, is because we are still here. We're still here. And it's not the time for that yet. It's getting there. It is getting there, but it's not time for that just yet. People, don't ever fear death. Don't ever fear that. Don't ever fear no man. Don't ever fear nobody. Period. I don't give a crap how tough they may look, how bulky they may be, whatever they have in their possession. Don't you ever fear these assholes. Never. Because they are not to be feared. You don't have to fear them because they fear you, because you know the truth. You know the reality of their bullshit. You can see the veil for what it is. You can see through the mirage, through the whole facade that they put out for people, to blind people, to lie to people, to deceive them, all of that crap. You see through all of that shit. And you got to really, I know some of you maybe really are hurting badly. I can feel your pain on that one, because they've been hurting me badly too. They have. But there's one thing you got to really look at here. Think about all the times they kept beating you the fuck down with their bullshit. But you still are here. You're still standing, and you're still standing damn well strong. You are still standing strong. Despite all of their shit, you are still standing strong. Despite all this crap. People, one of the main reasons why I'm saying that we need to definitely go off grid, it's not just for the safety part. It's also because we're slowly but surely losing the roots system of what we used to know back from olden times, what our ancestors used to do, how they were farming the land, how they were cultivating the land, not just the basics, but I'm talking about the ins and outs, the shortcuts, many of the useful traits that they had, not just knowing what they did, but knowing exactly how they did it. Let me tell you something. Well, what I've recently, not recently, but actually have, noticed due to my research in a whole. And I posted these videos on the Mischievous M channel. I did. I noticed that, the government didn't want you collecting water. That was number one. I noticed when you go off grid, they want you to still be on their sewage system, the same system that basically sends you that fluoridated water. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I noticed that they put all of these insane regulations for you to go for you to live off grid. And I'm like, you know something? If you got to live under regulations off grid, that's not living freely. It's not living freely if you have to be under the fucking thumb of the government. It's not free. It's not freedom. It's not. And I see this crap and I think back before all this regulation this, regulation that, permit this, register that. People did not do all of this shit. They didn't. There was no road laws at all, man, because people were riding horses back then. People was able to travel as far as they could, but they never would push their horses any far because that was a living animal. You were able to bond with nature right over the fucking horizon. Man, they come up with so many laws. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do this. Don't do this. Don't do that. I don't believe that this is the land of the free anymore. I believe that this is something that they've been structuring and changing over the years. And due to a lot of the stuff, building its momentum up, it's slowly but surely been changing from the land to the free. No, I mean the land of the free to the land of you're only as free as we allow you to think that you're free. And then it's now they're trying to tip the scale even more to where, oh no, you're only as free as we allow you to be. It's no longer as we allow you to think. You're only as free as we allow you to be. Hence these fucked up regulations, basically these fucked up mask mandates, this fucked up forced vaccination, recommendations, all of this crap. People, the warning vid that I issued out was real. They want to forcefully vaccinate you so that they can patent the shit that's in the vaccinations so that they can own you. That's what the fuck it is. It's an attempt of enslavement. That's what they're trying to do. And I hope that video got a whole lot of views, and I hope people shared the crap out of that. Because I was certain enough to, to definitely post I think her name was Joanne, Miss Joanne's channel. She does do live streams. I noticed that the other night. I checked on it, but I had so much on my mind I couldn't even stay in there or even give a mention out or anything like that. It's just so much happening, though. It is. But man, dude. Just remember, don't ever fear gang stalkers, because gang stalkers are the workers of iniquity. You can, and if you need actual, confirmation on that, read the scripture about that. Just read the scriptures. You'll see that the behaviorism of workers of iniquity is that similar of gang stalkers. You'll see the similarities to it. You'll see it. Remember, God has a special punishment for all of them. Every single one of them. Remember this one simple thing. In death, you don't bring these trinkets with you. In death, you do not bring no materialism with you. In death, you don't bring no money with you. That shit stays here. So who is to really be feared? God Almighty? The one who actually can erase your existence, the one who basically gave you life, and not just immediately take your life away, but also erase the existence of your soul too. Or the devil who basically just wants to devour you and basically have you suffer in all eternity in hell. Who's really to be feared? The one with the ability to completely abolish you, or the one who just wants to torture you? I'm going to let people think on that one, because I know who really needs to be feared, and it ain't the devil. I shouldn't even have to say that, but apparently we're dealing with people out there who are just way too dense, man. They're too dense, and you know something? Some of them, it's not even their fault. They've been programmed. They've been misled. They've been mistaught. They've been taught the wrong shit on purpose. It's not their fault. It's the system's fault. It's the beast's fault, the devil's fault. These Satanists, these Masons, these corruptive officials, these corruptive politicians, this fucked up gynocentric world we're living in that they constructed to basically fuck over the people and literally look out for themselves. Dude, the minute there was a guy who was part of the there was ever going to be a starting point of vigilante justice, They actually sent one guy out to speak out about that. And he gave the politicians in their in their county a warning, dude. He did. And I'm like, you know something? These idiots are sitting there sleeping and shit. They don't get it though. They don't. They don't. They seem to not understand when you piss people off over the edge like that. That puts them in the position to where they're done letting you make decisions. They're done. You're no longer even required to even make a decision. Your opinion's no longer needed. People take matters in their own hands and solve their own fucking problems where their elected officials in state, politics, senate, whatever, or mayorism, or whatever you call it, failed to do the jobs that they were elected to do. So basically, they're out of a job, and you think the taxpayer is going to keep paying these assholes? No, bitch. No. No, you fucking failed. You fucking failed. And they're going to look at you like, you know what? You ain't... no, man, go on somewhere with that crap. This is where it's going to lead to. It's going to this is what's exactly going to happen in every state of every country, within every town, within every village, within every city. People are going to reject the crap out of this stuff that they're doing. I'll tell you this once more. There's a hell of a lot more citizens than there are actually U.S. Marine troops. There's a hell of a lot more citizens than there are soldiers. There's a hell of a lot more citizens than there are Marines. And I don't want people to be able to have to fight against our own fucking forces. It should not have to come to that. It shouldn't. But I'm warning people that people who have been vaccinated, people who have been injected with this nano shit, they may be controlled. This is why I'm not fighting a civil war, because I'm not going to fight against somebody who's having their own will turned against them. But at the same time, it's so difficult because you got to protect yourself and your family. You got to protect your well-being, because if you don't, they're going to, despite the fact that they're being controlled, they will destroy it. They will do that. They definitely will. I don't want to go too far with this vid. I'm already at like 27 minutes. I'm going to just leave it off at there. I hope everybody's having a wonderful evening, minus all the madness, minus all the targeting, minus all the corruption that's been happening over the past few weeks. We got to, I know it's not easy, and this may be too much for me to ask, but people try to do something to take your mind off of this from time to time, because I'm telling you, it's not healthy to keep your mind on sit like this for so long. It's not. It really isn't. And it's sad because, like, whenever, and I know because I've seen enough of this. Whenever you try to take a break and not see this junk, they send these stupid advertisements to you to give you that effed up reminder. And it's like, I don't want to see this shit. I just want to take a break because I know it's bullshit. I know it's bullshit. Anyway, as always, stay safe, stay strong, everybody.